if it's not written down, that best friend may not be your best friend after all. Especially when money's involved. When money's involved, it tends to take away from thinking of each other or thinking of the other person first. But anyway, before I started teaching, I had several jobs. I think I talked to you about them. The last job was I was a national sales manager, okay? Now, it just so happened that during that time I was traveling a lot away from my family. So I had my business life, I had my family life, and business took first place. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't care about my family, but if there were a choice between doing something in my business life or my family life, business came first. So I remember thinking a couple things as I travel a lot. I used to travel all the time, but what I learned was that I remember, well, there's a certain lifestyle, and you might think it's a stereotype, but people who travel a lot have a tendency to be skanky. I don't know how else to say it. They party, the people I associate with at least in business, they party, and a lot of them were divorced. If they weren't divorced, they were working on that divorce based on developing inappropriate relationships. I used to see them, walk on the edge of the cliff, whether it's be flirtatious or just do things that would cause a marriage to be, I don't know, strained a little bit. To me, you don't walk the edge. You don't see how close you can get without falling off. You stay away from the edge, especially when you're married. Otherwise, when you keep riding that edge and riding that edge, before long, what was inappropriate now is acceptable, and pretty soon you seek after it, and then you've cheated on your wife or husband. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best spouse in the world, but I've been married for 30 years, same woman, no substitutes or interruptions. What I learned, I remember working week after week, year after year in this travel business. I wasn't in the travel business, but I traveled for work. And I remember this one time I had this thought come to my head, because it's not easy. It's not easy being away from your family. It's not easy in a lifestyle where you're away from home so much, where the work environment is work hard and party hard and then get up and do the next thing the next day. And that's what I saw. A lot of guys that I worked with were horny. I don't know how else to explain it. Males and females, when they got away from their home environment, they liked to ride that edge. I saw it. And so I didn't go socialize much after work, like people would go out for drinks and stuff. I remember when I was young, when I would come home late, when I was your age, I'd come home late, and my mom would say, "What were you doing till 1 o'clock in the morning?" And I'd say, "Oh, we talked and stuff." See, the talking isn't the bad part, it's the and stuff that parents worry about. And I was a good guy, I waited till I was married to do, to consummate the marriage. We had a short engagement, believe that. But anyway, the lifestyle was just, I didn't like it. I remember thinking one time, this thought came to me. I don't know where the thought came from. Maybe it was heaven, or maybe it was instinct, like we talked about in class. But I had this feeling, hey, Jim, get busy being married or get busy getting a divorce. Now, I wasn't thinking about divorce. I was satisfied in my marriage overall, pretty much. But, and really the satisfaction came from just not being home very much. I was always gone, and it was a difficult lifestyle. But I remember thinking that, so I thought, you know what? That's true. I need to focus on one or the other. You have to work on being married. It just doesn't happen. And that's why after 10 years, when people go different directions, pretty soon they have nothing in common, they get a divorce. So you have to get busy getting married. You have to stay focused. And that was a big insight that I got. But anyway, I was working for this business, and it was a pet industry, and I was the national sales manager. And the owner hired his sister-in-law, his wife's sister. And she was what you might call, I'm just going to guess, a cougar. If not a cougar, she was skanky. I don't know. I'm going to call her Skanky Valerie, okay? But Skanky Valerie had never been married. And just the way she talked, you could tell she was a hoe. Just she had that, you know what I mean? You know how they talk. Anyway, and because I was a national sales manager, because she was a real estate agent in the 90s where no one sold anything because it was like now, they said, okay, Jim, you teach her the business. So wherever you go, she goes. So anyway, she always wanted to party at night, and I didn't. I was tired. I'm a habit. I'm a creature of habit. I like to finish work, go back, get a little room service. It doesn't have to be extravagant. If I'm going to take someone out to eat for business purposes, I take them to lunch. I wouldn't take a female client to dinner. Why? Because you're riding the edge. You're riding the edge. At dinner, nighttime, something happens. She wanted to party at night, and I didn't. I like room service, watch my ESPN, go to a movie now and then, and go to bed. I was tired. So anyway, she used to always bug me about going out at night. And I said, you know, I'm tired. I don't want to. And of course, in the morning, we'd always meet in the lobby. Why meet in the lobby instead of in the room? So anyway, one night, I like to go to movies. My wife likes chick flicks. I like manly men movies. So, and that's not porn. That's like, you know, like Braveheart. Okay? She doesn't like violent movies. I love violent movies. So, anyway, I went to a movie one night. And the next morning, we met in the lobby, and I looked at her, and I knew I was in trouble. She was pissed about something. I said, "What's the matter?" She goes, "Where'd you go last night?" I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" She goes, "I went out to the parking lot, and the rental car was gone." And I said, "Oh yeah, last night. I went to the movie." "Why didn't you take me? You know, I always want to go out. You never want to go out. You went to the movie. Why didn't you ask me?" She goes, "What'd you see?" And I told her, "I want to see that movie. Why didn't you ask me that movie?" And I said, you know what, Valerie? I'm not comfortable going out with you after business hours. I'm married. I'm uncomfortable socializing with a single woman. And it's like she got hit by like a train. She's never heard that before. In her circle of people that she associated with, I'm sure they never said that. She goes, oh. Okay, I can respect that. And then it was never an issue after that, no matter where we went. Until we were going to Chicago, the big show of the year, where the heavy hitters come to see the new products. Some of them give you purchase orders at the time. In fact, in Chicago one year, I got $1 million sale. Anyway, but I go early, set everything up with a couple other people from the company and the salespeople. And of course, Valerie came with me, and so did Sally. Sally was the owner's sister, okay? She knew a little bit about business, but now Sally and Valerie are working for me, okay? So we go to Chicago, and we find out we're going to have a new vice president of sales. And his name is Romeo. I'll just call him Romeo, okay? His name was Romy. But let's just call him Romeo. So we find out we're going to meet this new VP of sales. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't want to be VP of sales. I didn't want that job. That was even worse as far as family strains. So we work on the show, very busy, 15-hour days. At night, I just go home just dead, go to bed the next day. Well, the fourth day of a 5-day show, Romeo comes in the afternoon, Romeo, and he says, "Hey, I'm from Chicago. I'm going to take you guys out tonight to dinner and a night on the town. Now, I know this town. We're going to have fun." I go, "Great. Now I got to go out tonight and be with this guy. I'm tired." So he shows up at the end of the show of the day, and we go with him. Now, I have the van keys, the company car of the van, and we go out to dinner. And by the way, he's hired by some of the top recruiters in the country. They're called headhunters. And what they do is they they're like agents. They get somebody hired and then they get a percentage of their first annual salary. So let's say this guy made $200,000 a year, which he probably did. The headhunters would get $20,000 as a commission for signing that, hooking up the two parties. So anyway, he was a heavy hitter. We're going out to dinner. We go to his restaurant. It's an Italian restaurant downtown Chicago. And by the way, if you've never been to Chicago, it's a great place to go to. It's awesome. The culture there and the food and the people is just wonderful. I love going there. Anyway, so we go to this restaurant. The table's not ready, so everyone starts drinking. And I got my Diet Coke, and everybody else is drinking. And Romeo's drinking, and his tongue is getting loose, and he's getting intoxicated. And he starts talking about how he's going to change the company, and how he's going to do this for the salespeople, and how the owners don't really know what a big company's like, because it was a small company that's now big, and he's going to bring the company to this next level. And he starts talking, and I realized this is the concept to understand here. I knew what the owners wanted, and when I got hired, I knew I got hired because they said, "Why should we hire you?" And I said these simple words. I said, "Well, first of all, I'm married, so you don't have to worry about me fooling around on the road. Second of all, I will always represent you well. I will never misrepresent you or say something that you would be ashamed of or that would not represent your thoughts or your desires for your company. I'll be loyal to your company, and you can trust me." Trust is a big issue. And if you want a big job where people pay you tons of money, then you gain their trust. And if you'll gain their trust, you will get promotions like you can't believe. I'm telling you the truth. Unless, of course, you work for people that are dishonest. So I heard him talking, and I realized this guy is going to be bad for the company. He's saying things that the owners would not like because he's talking behind their back. Not only that, he's talking to the owner's sister and sister-in-law. So we get our table, and we're eating, and they're drinking and talking. We're talking, and he's continuing to say how great he's going to change the company. He is so rude to the server that the owner, who knows him by first name, came up to him and said, "Hey, Romeo, the server doesn't want to serve your table anymore because you're being so obnoxious, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave and your party to leave if you can't be nice." So anyway, he said, "Okay," and he apologized. But he was just one of these guys that was very self-centered. So, and he was saying stuff that I knew the owners didn't like. I knew that he was saying things that were not representative of that company. And I was with the company ever since there was 5 employees. And now there were a couple of hundred. So I knew what they wanted. Anyway, he goes to the restroom. He says, "Okay, we're going to get done dinner. We're going to go clubbing tonight. We're going to hit the nightclubs. I know all the best. We're going to have fun." He goes to go to the bathroom for the 10th time. And I told everybody, I said, "Okay, I got the keys. I'm not going. Anyone wants to come with me? Now's your chance. Otherwise, you're stuck with him or a cab." "Oh, come on, Jim. Come on. Come out. Party with us." "No, I'm tired. I worked 20 hours today." "Okay, 15. But I was tired." So he comes back, and I said, "Hey, look, thanks for the invite. No, thanks. I'm going to bed. I'm tired." "Oh, yeah, I've heard about you. You're some, goody guy that's too good for us." I said, "Look, I'm tired, Romeo. I'm going to sleep. I got to get up at 6 tomorrow morning. I'm tired." "Yeah, whatever." So I said, "Last chance." And anyway, I went by myself. So I went home, went to sleep, and my phone rings at 2 o'clock in the morning. I got a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, at 2 o'clock in the morning, if the phone rings, someone's dead.